trying to get your track signed at a label is difficult. And sometimes it's even frustrating. Especially if you feel that your track is such a banger. I think it's a little bit demotivating. For instance, my best performing video, this one, didn't get signed. And even though you guys loved it, and I loved it, we were the only one. The labels didn't like it. I don't know why, but still. So I decided to get this one released independently. I'm going to show you how you guys can do this as well. This video will be a step-by-step guide on how you should release your track, how to promote your track, and motivate you to do the same. Please subscribe! Before we go any further, there are a couple of things you need to know. You need to choose a I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm with Triple Vision Distribution, but you can also do Ditto, DistroKid, TuneCore, Lander. There's a lot. I don't think your distributor is that important, but I need to mention that, of course. When you release independently, you need to do everything by yourself. You need to make the music, you need to plan the track, you need to create the content, promote the track. Look, I can go on and on, but basically it's about three things: the music, your plan, and the hype around it. Let's start with the music. The track is already finished, but after I tried it out a couple of times during my gigs, I noticed there were some things that I needed to change. To refresh your minds, this was the track. By the way, if you want a full breakdown of this track, it will be uploaded on my Patreon. Patreon is in the description, by the way. So I did like the track, you know, but there were some things that I think could be added a little bit more. So I added this one. Just a little ear candy to make it more interesting, you know. I'm gonna show you the master real quick as well. Look, the track is done right now. Mastered, sounds great. Now we need to make a cover. And to be honest, I forgot to record that I made the cover. But it looks like this. Now that everything is done, we can plan it. Most of the time, planning it through your distributor, pretty simple. It speaks for itself. The other thing you need to understand is that you need to have around 6 or 4 weeks before the release. Then you will give the Spotify curators a little time to listen to the track. And also you get a lot of time to plan out your whole plan for the track. I planned it the 27th of June, and that's when this video comes out in about 2 weeks. And of course, I already thought about how to promote the track. And I think that's really important to create some hype. The idea that I have is that I'm going to do this independently. Most of the content based around the track will be nobody wanted to sign this track, let's prove them wrong.
No one wanted to sign this track, let's prove them wrong, let's go!
We need to make sure that everybody is wrong about this track, because I believe in this track. I hope you guys believe in this track as well. And with the hook of nobody wanted to sign this track, let's prove them wrong, is that I want to include you guys to prove the labels wrong, so that we sort of create a movement with releasing independently as well. So that's a little bit the idea of the content that I have right now. And I think that's really important to have that with every track that you release. So you need to have that sort of story that you can tell and that people will get around it, that people think, yeah, I want to support this artist. After this video comes out on YouTube, the plan is to put out little by little teasers of the track with that hook, and to create a little bit more that we push people to pre-save the track on Spotify, on Apple Music, on Deezer, stuff like that, you know. Everything is planned right now, so we need to do a Spotify pitch. Most of the time what I do is that I go to ChatGPT, and I would really recommend to keep it in the same chat, because if you don't do that, it will always be different.
2 hours later.
I think that's mostly the highlight. Could change some things.
12 sleepless hours later.
I think this is great. Let's do it like this. Can you summarize this into 500 characters? I think this is great for a pitch. And now we just click on pitch and we can still add some clips. Well, we will do that after the show on Saturday, where I already have an idea of how to promote the track, you know. I think if you see me, it's the next day. Now that everything is planned, it's time to create some hype. One thing to get hype around your track is to get DJ support. As I have ranked twice in the top 101 on 2001 track list, I know a little bit on how to get DJ support. The key to get support from DJs is to be personal within your email or DMs. Nobody likes a mass mail that looks like a newsletter or a copy-pasted DM. Try to keep it simple and try to keep it personal as well. For me, I always send DJ promo out on Monday. What I've noticed is that most DJs who do radio shows make their show on Tuesday or Wednesday, and they will check the DJ promo on Monday. The other thing is I always try to be 1 week before the release. The reason why you do it 1 week before the release date is that you give sort of exclusivity before the release. And the other thing is that even though it's exclusive, it's not so far ahead from the release date. And then it's much easier to keep that hype. And the thing is, it's all about creating hype. And hype is really easy to get, but it's also with the attention span nowadays from everybody, it's so easy to lose again. Therefore, you want it to be in that 2-week period that you get as much DJ support as you can get, so you can continue to post about the DJ support after release as well. The thing is, I have 2 methods to send a track. I do it by email and I do it by DMs on Instagram. So I'm gonna show you the idea of how I send my email. So this is really the template that I have. Subject line is new track for the artist name, then the name of the track, and then most of the time it's like yo, hi, their first name. First line is always a little bit different, but I try to change that every other mail. Then I say something about the release. The special thing about this release is that I release it on my own label. So most of the time I say I'm back with a new release on the label. It depends a little bit, you know. You don't want to spend too much time on writing as much information as possible in there. Try to keep it like 1 or 3 lines. For instance, if I send somebody out a track that is on a label that they like, they are willing to click even more than that they would do if they didn't read that. And then I say sort of what kind of sound it is. So it's a combination between hard house and tech house. This is a sort of really short summary of the track, what it is, on which label it is, and what kind of sound it is. You don't need to introduce yourself, because most of the time when I get a promo, I don't even read that. I just click the link. If I see just a lot of text, then I just skip that whole text and just click the link. Nobody cares about that you played piano last year, you know, or they just want to listen to it. If it's good, they will reply. If it's not good, they won't reply. That's really the basic thing. And then of course you end the email with thank you for your time and let me know what you think. The other thing is that I also have this email in Dutch. And that's what I mean by creating a personal DJ promo. I know a lot of Dutch DJs, but if I send an English email, then it doesn't work, because they think, yeah, this is a mass mail, you know? So if you make sure to also create it as a Dutch email, or what's your native language, I would really recommend to make another email for that as well. After that I make the email, I go to my Excel sheets. So I have this Excel sheet with the English promo DJs. So everyone that is English is in here. There's a lot of names in there. I'm not gonna show you the emails, of course. No, I got almost 900 in this one. And then I have the Dutch promo, that's also like 150. So I almost have 1,000 contacts in these 2 Excel sheets. I try to keep them updated. And the reason why I use this, an Excel sheet, is that there's an add-on that's called Yet Another Mail Merge. What it basically does is that you can send the email that you had in a template as a sort of personal mail. But I send it by one instead of sending a sort of newsletter, because nobody likes to have a newsletter, to be honest. I don't like that. I always skip those kind of emails. I also send DJs promos through DMs. It's really easy on how I do that. Whenever I see somebody supporting my tracks on Songstats or on 1001 Tracklist, I send that DJ a DM with, hey, thank you for supporting this track. If they reply back, that's an easy way to send another promo again. So I'm going to send the DJ promo right now, because it's Monday, and let's do this. Of course, we have pitched this track to the Spotify curators to get into the editorial playlist, but it's also good to have curators who are making personal playlists. Those will sometimes get even more streams than the editorials that you get on Spotify. The reason why you want this is that you want to get a head start of streams for your track. I like to use Submithub and Groover. So a week before the release, I will send out my track to all the curators on Submithub, and a week after the release, I will send find my track on Groover. There is some knowledge behind this. It's about the popularity score on Spotify. From what I know is that if you have around 30% on the popularity score, you will get into the algorithm Spotify playlist. And these playlists are basically Discover Weekly, radio, DJ mixes. The reason why you want to get in those algorithm playlists is that it will boost your streams really quickly. If you eventually get picked up, you will get a minimum of 1,000 streams every day. So that's really something you would aim for. And that's around 30% popularity score. And how do you get to that 30%? Is that you have an X amount of streams in the first month, an X amount of saves in the first month, an X amount of playlist ads in the first month. You want to maximize the growth of your track. That's basically what you need to focus on. The reason why you do also a week after on a different platform is to sustain those kind of ads. So that it's not on only one day, there's also a week after that. So it makes sense that Spotify thinks, hey, the track still is getting added to certain playlists. That's sort of my knowledge behind it. I don't know if it's the right knowledge, but it has worked for me. So that's the reason why. This is the Submithub platform. So what we do is we go to submit to curators. I would recommend to go to premium because standard isn't doing that much. I never used it and I always like to use the premium. Similar artist is like myself, of course, Tim. Murph's Law, DOD, Luke van Dijk, MK. And the best way to describe this genre is, I think, house. Just house. And there's one thing, it's old school, this one. And I feel there is also some notch of tech house in there. I feel it's energetic. Nothing else in there really speaks to mind for me. Try to keep this on specific and honest, or please be gentle. If you do no feedback, yeah, you will see it. The approval rate is not that high. And as a creator myself on Submithub as well, I can hear within the first 5-10 seconds if I like a track or not. And it's really annoying that you need to listen to 180 seconds for that. So that's why I never use this one. I don't mind that people will be specific and honest. Now we go to the whole platform. So what I most of the time do is that I will put this engagement from high to low. And the reason for this is that I want playlists that are engaging with their monthly listeners. So I focus on this. If I see around 500, 800% monthly listeners, that's a great thing. Then I look for the genres and then I see, this isn't really for me. And then I listen to the track. And then you think, yeah, this isn't really something for my track, you know? It's always something that I keep in mind to just look at, okay, this could work. Is this working for my track? I think so, okay, submit. And I will really recommend never use this one. First things first, it's a lot of money. And the other thing is that the approval rate is around 30%. To be honest, I rather do not do that because I want to get like a sort of personal connection with the creator, and you will save up a lot of money because then more than half will decline your track. So what I would recommend is go to all these lists. Yeah, there's a lot. As you can see, there were 188 curators over here. I'm not gonna bore you with what kind of playlist I just chose because yeah, that's a really, then the video will be really long. So I will show you this. This is the amount of credits I spent on, and you want it to make sense that you submit to that playlist. I think that's really important as well to know. So keep that in mind. So everybody's now set and done. The track is done. The plan is done. The hype is done. I don't know if the hype is coming, of course, but when the plan and the music is good, the hype will eventually come. That's what I believe. If you don't believe that, sue me, but don't sue me, please, because I don't have any money for that. I hope you learned something today. If you want to learn a little bit more about music production or stuff like that, please go to my Patreon. If you like this video, subscribe. If you want to know more, leave a comment below. Leave a like. I will see you guys next week. Bye-bye!
You need to subscribe to Tim Hawks on YouTube, or you're going to die.